Having a reliable short game chipping action is much easier than you think. We can look at some of the best golfers in the world to what they do to improve their technique. And the best thing is, the two examples I'm going to give you are so simple and so effective. Jon Rahm and Fitzpatrick. They are geniuses around the greens, and I'm going to show you how you can implement it as well. First of all, I want you to grab a towel or a shirt or anything like that, because what we're going to be doing is sticking it under our arms. And this is something that Jon Rahm practices, and I'm sort of singling him out, but tons of good players around the greens are using this drill. And you might have seen it, but I just want to explain why I want you to try it. What it's going to help us with, we want to have a good amount of connection. The more we can use the kind of larger body parts, as it were, and we can use momentum rather than trying to fine-tune everything with our hands and trying to control distance or power or spin. We can use the hands to increase our touch, but most of us have to get better contact first. That's how we get consistent around the greens. And what I see a lot of the times, people are separating the arms, the elbows too much, the wrists are flipping too much, the body stalls, and we just try and sort of push it forwards this way, and we kind of have this kind of action. It's not very reliable. But what we can do with a towel, and if it's good enough for Jon Rahm, it's certainly good enough for you. We're going to put it under our armpits like this, all right? And what that's going to help us do when we're keeping it connected. Now, we don't want it too low so the elbows are like really jammed in, just right at the top here. We don't want to feel constricted. We're going to hold the club, and the club is going to feel very heavy. Our arms and our wrists are nice and supple. But what I'm going to do, the engine, the motor for my chipping action is going to be this sternum rotation, feeling like my chest and my core are working the movement. It's a nice arc. I'm not tilting up and down too much. And what you might find is when you do this initially, you might feel like you're kind of doing a bit of a rocking action, a bit like a putt. It might feel like that to you. But what we actually want is a more rounded motion, okay? More rounded and flatter. That's going to give us a more reliable technique. So all you need to do is start practicing at home with this, okay? There's other videos I've got on chipping setup. Without thinking too much about it, I want you to just have a few practice swings and then a few little chips, just getting the technique right. And you'll start to calibrate yourself about what power that you need, what tempo that you need. Because we're working together and everything is connected now, with that suppleness, we want to avoid the sort of snatchiness or dragging the hands forward or not enough wrist break, then too much wrist break. Everything just has to be neutral and connected. Feeling like my chest is rotating back and around. And as you can see, as I finish, my chest is a lot more nearer the target than if I was just here. So it's going to help calibrate yourself to give you that nice sensation. A reliable technique that is actually really, really simple. Give the towel drill a try. Now we're on to number 2 from Matt Fitzpatrick and actually Vijay Singh. There are so many benefits to what I'm about to show you. What we're going to do is place the lead hand below our trail hand. So we're just reverse gripping, okay? Cack-handed, reverse grip, left below right, whatever you want to call it. Some of you may putt like this already, and you've probably seen some very successful players like Matt Fitzpatrick doing this, Vijay Singh. But why would some of the best golfers in the world do it? Well, again, if it's good enough for them, the chances are it's going to be good enough for you. But what it really helps with is to ensure that you don't stall on chip shots. It really comes into dividends when we're out of rough a little bit. Because what happens, we end up sort of stalling a bit too much. We get too wristy and we can accelerate at the wrong time. Like everything is disconnected, as we showed with the towel drill. But what we're trying to do here is have a nice reliable commitment through the ball that's pacifying the wrists without being too rigid. So we're not just stabbing it like so, we're having everything work through and together. But what this is going to do is ensure that we can accelerate through our shots without quitting on them. We can get reliable distance control because we're not occasionally flipping the hands through a little bit faster. We're not snatching. There's a nice, smooth, relaxed tempo. And what you accomplish by doing this is having a foundational action. And just by flipping the hands in reverse, what it's going to do is ensure that your lead side here is actually going to move through a little bit better. Because if you stall or use too much wrist, that's going to feel very awkward. So what I want you to do is take your regular setup. We're going to place the lead hand below, which is going to lower our trail side a little bit. We don't want to be dipping down too much. It's very subtle. There's still an angle on our shoulders. We're not completely sort of down this way to dig down. It's just this slight reversal. And what we're going to do is keep just practicing our low point here, almost like a brushing action. That's what we're trying to do. And it's very subtle, but what you're going to do is work on your chipping tempo. And you'll find that you'll, again, calibrate yourself that when you are rotating through, everything's going to feel like it's going towards the target rather than hitting down at it. Your intention is going to change quite a lot. And you can do this technique up to, I would say, maybe 20 yards around the green. But at first, even at home on the carpet, what you can do is just work on a tiny little chip shot just to get that technique. But the beauty is you can combine lead below trail hand with the tower drill to get a wonderful, perfect, consistent chipping action. There you have it. You can use this with the cack-handed and you will get a better technique. Now, if you want to really refine the pitching and your full swing, check out this lesson because it's applying some of the same principles of simplicity. See you next time.